All right, we'll get started. So if you have any questions, just put it in the comments and we'll keep answering it as we go. So first of all, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Abhi Dugal, and I'm on a mission to help you breathe better, sleep better, and live a better life. Um, Welcome to Meditate with Abhi. We'll start this video with expressing gratitude for all of you, each one of you who has supported this channel. And we just reached 100,000 subscribers. So that's something we want to celebrate with you. And we really want to bring awareness to this conscious community we've been creating. Now is the time of AI, artificial intelligence. And the way the artificial intelligence trains, the algorithms train is on data. So our mission is to be able to create more and more positive on the internet. If you go to the comment sections in one of the videos, one of the popular videos on Meditate with Abhi, you'll see this positive string of comments. So that's been our mission, that we support each other, whether we have sleep issues or insomnia or other issues in our life. We support each other through positive energy, and that we can express through the comments. And that's what we're leaving behind as our legacy on the internet, so we can train the algorithms better, that this is how we interact with each other and this is how we communicate with each other, so we can build better, more sensitive AI systems, artificial intelligence. Because believe it or not, we're going into this era of artificial intelligence, and these algorithms are getting better and better in 2022, 23. Um, these are just um, the, the exponential growth here. All right. So let's start with this main topic we want to talk about today. We want to introduce that we have been working on this sleep course called Sleep Your Way to Better Health. And this course is a combination of all the knowledge I acquired from growing up in India through my guru. This is the more esoteric knowledge, which is more towards the yoga science. And then I've done a lot of research on the cutting edge science of sleep, including the circadian rhythms, your um, your endocrine system, and a lot of problems related to sleep. So we bring all that knowledge and merge the esoteric knowledge from the East with the cutting edge science of the West, and we bring that into this course. So this course is around 10, 9 to 10 lectures. We give you um, the bedtime routine, which is basically a combination also of the Ayurveda, the routines you can do, which includes the acupressure knowledge, and it includes all the things you can do while you're awake, because what we do when we are awake determines the quality of our sleep. So, sometimes we think about sleep as a separate compartment, and this is how our society functions. Because if you see in the medical field, we have um, doctors for ears, we have doctors for eyes, we have doctors for kidney, but we don't realize that the whole system is integrated. And whenever you find a solution to one problem, you have to look at all the different causes which could be resulting in your sleep problem. So that's how we want to integrate sleep, and that's how we want to approach the sleep issue. That your sleep issue could be because you had a really trouble discussion with your mom or dad or somebody in the family, or with your boss, maybe because of the ongoing tension, stress between your boss and you have sleep issues, or you had an argument in the office 3 days ago, and now you're playing that argument over and over again in your mind, and that's causing your inability to sleep. There's a lot of different causes of sleep, and what we do in this course is you step by step recommendations on what we can do so we can improve the quality of our sleep. So um, the course is going to be out within a week, and now we are uh, asking you to put down your email addresses in the description so we can start collecting email addresses, and we'll notify each one of you about the sleep course. All right. So let me see if you have any questions that we can answer specifically. Dominique, good evening. Thank you for being here for us, and thank you for being here for us. You're the ones who are supporting us, giving us motivation to continue doing this kind of work. So now we go to this question of Hello Green. How many hours do we need to sleep? Um, so the amount of hours you need to sleep is really depends on your constitution, your age. So there's no one shoe fits all situation, and that's what we have to realize when we think about these questions about how many hours. So of course, if you take the average of all the people who sleep, they say 8 hours is optimum, and if you don't have 8 hours, they say 6.5 hours is another optimum level. See, when you talk about the hours of sleep, you get into the sleep cycle. So each sleep cycle you go through is 90 minutes long. And they recommend that when you're sleeping, you should complete sleep cycles. So you should not be waking up in the middle of the sleep cycle. That can only happen naturally if you have an alarm on or somebody comes and shakes you when you're sleeping. That's when you can be awakened within the sleep cycle. But naturally, if you go with your body's intelligence, it always wakes you up at the end of the sleep cycle. See, there's four different stages in sleep cycle. Scientists have told us now, and the last stage is called REM sleep. REM, rapid eye movement, when your eyes are rapidly moving, and it's called paradoxical sleep. It's called paradoxical sleep because your brain connect you to the EEG and we watch you on the television or monitor, computer screen, the activity of the brain would simulate as if you're awake. So that's why it's called paradoxical sleep. But of course, we know that you're sleeping, and there's a part of the brain called pons, which releases a hormone which makes you paralyzed. Because because you're paralyzed, um, it renders you not being able to act on your dreams. So if you're dreaming about jumping out of the plane or a building, you're not doing that in real life because you're paralyzed on the bed. And that's the a secure mechanism our body has evolved um, through our evolution. All these activities, all these things have been put in our body, and the body has evolved to become that much intelligent. So, anyways, coming back, the REM sleep is the last stage of our sleep. And then after the REM sleep, your body wakes you up automatically. And then you go into N1 sleep, which is the lightest stage of your sleep. And that's when you can wake up easily whenever you hear any disturbance. So, body automatically wakes up after a REM cycle. And then, of course, you go repeat the cycle again. So let's say you completed 4 cycles. That's around 6 hours. 90 minutes, 4 cycles, 6 hours, and the next one will be 7.5 hours. And it takes your body around 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes to go to sleep. That's why we say 6 hours and 30 minutes is your optimum uh, time of sleep. Or if you want to do 8 hours, if you have enough time, 8 hours is the best. And then also it depends on what stage of life you're in. If you are a kid under 12 years old, you should have at least 8 hours of sleep. As we get older, you should have also 8 hours of sleep. But when you are between the ages of 12, 15, let's say 15, all the way to uh, 35, you tend to have lesser sleep. But listen to your body, that's the most important. Like I said, there is no one solution which can fit everybody. So you have to experiment with your sleep cycles and experiment sleeping without the alarm and see what time your body wakes you up. And then you can formulate how many hours you need specifically. And of course, you have to take consideration into how you wake up in the morning. You feel good. You feel rested. You feel like you've had enough sleep. And then you bring awareness to your mood, how you feel in the morning. If you're irritated or if you have a tendency to exaggerate the emotions, then that's an indication that your sleep is not proper, that you're not getting enough sleep, or the quality of your sleep is not good, which means you're not going into the deeper realms of your sleep. So I hope that answers your question. So the next question is, why do I wake up feeling tired even after a full night of sleep? Yeah, so these are the things we just talked about. Sometimes our body, because of the stress, cannot go deeper into the restful realms of sleep. So scientists are not telling us that there's different stages of sleep, and when you go into these different stages, what's going on scientifically when you look at the EEG, your brain waves, brain waves are slowly transitioning from your beta state is when you're awake, when you have a lot of thoughts going on, slowly into your alpha state and then into theta state. Theta state is when you transition into sleep and your body starts to heal. But there's another stage, very interesting stage, is delta state, and that's the state you go in when you're not even dreaming. So you lose the sense of your identity in your theta state, in your delta state. So that's the state you want to target. And target that through our sleep music, through our nighttime routine, and when you get enough delta state, or this is also called slow wave state, because when you look at the EEG, your brain activity, your waves are very slow. So when the waves are slow, that also indicates that the body temperature is low, your heart is low, and the number of thoughts in your mind are less. And that's when you're going deep into sleep. And in slow wave state, although you have dreams, rarely, but they're not abundant like in the REM sleep. So that's why they say through the from the Vedic perspective that that's the part of the sleep you want to touch because there's a lot of things going on, whether it's the involuntary functions of the body, or it's the repair mechanism of the body, or your tissue building, or your memories consolidating. There's a lot of memories you have while you go through your day, and the short-term memories, the discussions you had through with your partner, if you're a teacher, you went to school and you taught a class. All these memories, the interactions you had throughout the day, these are short-term memories. And our brain doesn't hold the short-term memories. That's why they're called short-term. So it doesn't have the capacity to hold these memories for too long. That's why they need to be transitioned, archived into the long-term memory. So we can create room for more short-term memories for your present. So all this is going on while you're going in your sleep, and your body is so intelligent that it has evolved through the millions of years of our existence as human beings to give you optimum um, levels of sleep and your wakefulness. So one thing I want to point out is the quality of your sleep is directly proportional to the quality of your wakefulness. If you have slept good, if you had a good quality sleep, that means you're going to be awake fully when you are awake. So, very important to know that we live in this relative world where everything is measured relatively. So, You know what hot is when you've experienced what cold is. So same thing with rich and poor. Any experience you want to have in this life, you have to have experienced the opposite of it to have that experience. So same thing to enjoy or experience the quality of your sleep. You have to be able to experience the wakefulness. So it really depends on what you do during your day, the routine you follow, the way you wake up. There's different factors we put down in this course. So the first factor is the light exposure, of course. How much light do you get exposed to during the morning? You know, it's not just the light exposure in the morning; it's also the light exposure in the night. So that's what we cover in the course. What is the optimum level of exposure in the morning, and what's the optimum level of avoidance of light in the evening, so your circadian rhythms can function well. The second important factor is the sound. So we have five senses, right? So the first main is your eyes. This is how you take in the light. When you're sleeping, when your eyes are closed, there is no light coming in. There's no other place in the body where the light can enter, the photons can enter. It's only your eyes. So when you open your eyes in the morning, that's when the light, the photons come in, and it tells your circadian rhythms that it's morning. And when you transition into the night, the dim light of the sun, when the sun is just setting, there's a specific light frequency which goes in your light and tells your body that it's time to sleep, and then the body should start preparing you for sleep and start releasing beautiful hormones like melatonin, which will help you not only transition into sleep, but have you sleep longer. So that's why we dedicated a whole channel to get your circadian rhythms to become optimum. So through our sleep music, there's millions of people who have been listening to this, and we're so grateful that it's actually helping. These frequencies which we put in the background are helping you go into deeper realms of sleep. So continuing with the discussion, the first factor we talked about is light. The second chapter in this course we talk about is the sound exposure. The second sense, very important sense, is the ears. So it just like you're intaking the light, you're also intaking the sounds around you. That's why we recommend always to sleep in a space where it's not too noisy, so your ears are not taking too much noise. And that's why we turn that noise into music through the music. And music, which we put on the channel, a lot of people had questions about the music. First thing it does, it helps you go into the rhythm of your breathing. It alters the way you breathe. So when we do shallow breathing, when you have stress in your life, you tend to shallow breathe, which means you're breathing in your thoracic cavity. Your lungs are participating more than your abdomen. And when you look into the right way or the optimum way of breathing, these are called abdominal breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. Your diaphragm is a muscle which is not studied uh, too much in our culture, but it's the most important organ in our body which helps the breathing process, especially because your breathing is involuntary and voluntary both at the same time, which means you can consciously breathe. And when you're not paying attention, it happens unconsciously. So your diaphragm contracts and then collapses. And this helps alter the pressure in the body, which helps the breathing process, the inhalations and the exhalations, inspire and the expire automatically. And that's it's very important to keep our diaphragm healthy. And they did a study on the lead athletes, and they said even in the lead athletes, these people are performing way above the average. even their diaphragm was studied, and it's not expanding all the way and contracting all the way. What does that mean? That means that our lifestyle, the way we breathe, slowly, makes our diaphragm weak. It's not elastic enough. So that's why it's very important to bring awareness on the breathing so we can train our diaphragm to breathe properly for us. Because we want to give as much control as we can to the involuntary functions so we don't have to think about these things. But to create a habit to make the diaphragm to breathe properly, you have to have it in your conscious awareness first. So you can train it slowly, so it can do it for you afterwards. So in the new channel we have created the School of Breath, we bring you all these kind of breathing techniques which helps you strengthen your diaphragm. There's breathing techniques, the yoga pranayama techniques which help you strengthen your diaphragm. You can sleep easy because your breathing has the most important part to play in your sleep. So our music, coming back to our music trained to get your breathing from 15 breaths a minute, which is how we breathe normally. If you just put a timer in front of you and you just breathe for a minute, you'll notice that the average human being breathes 15 times a minute. And the way we want to train our body to breathe is to breathe slowly. The only way you can breathe slowly is by training your body to start breathing using your diaphragm and your abdomen, belly breathing. And I want to remove this misconception that people think that belly breathing is when you're breathing into your belly. Well, you're not breathing into your belly, you're always breathing into your lungs. What happens is when you expand your lungs fully, the part of the diaphragm, it pushes on the diaphragm, and your diaphragm, instead of going like this, it goes like this. And it increases the volume inside your lung. When the diaphragm goes like this, it automatically expands your belly. So if you bring your left hand on the belly and start to breathe, you bring breath all the way first into your belly and then you start filling up your chest. You always want to breathe naturally. Naturally means that when you take water, um, tumbler, and you pour it into a cup, where do you think the water is going to go first? It's going to go to the bottom first because we have gravity, the laws of gravity. And then it fills up the top. This is how we should keep that in mind when you breathe too. So when you breathe in, instead of just filling up your chest first, go all the way down, fill up your belly, then fill up your chest. And of course, when you exhale, relax the shoulders, empty the chest, and then pull the belly in. So this is, like I mentioned, is going to be handled automatically with through your diaphragm. But when you are breathing, or when you had a chronic stress, or when you had a trauma in your life, then your breathing got altered. Whether it was young, 7 years old, 8 years old, or it happened maybe later in life, the stress or trauma altered your breathing. When you're breathing, when you have stress, you're breathing shallow, right here in the chest. The same thing when you had a trauma in your, it altered your breathing, and breathing, when it altered, you started breathing. I'd say wrong. Let's say wrong for our discussion. When you started breathing wrong, it just went into the involuntary function, and the body started training to breathe wrong. Sometimes I see when I do consulting for yoga and meditation, I see the patients, they're breathing opposite. When they're breathing in, their belly is coming in. So just notice your breath right now. When you're breathing in, is the belly going out, expanding, or are you putting the belly in as you breathe in? The belly can only go in when you breathe in, when you're breathing into your chest only. And over time, Years and years of breathing wrong can lead to this stress, can lead to your body basically um, falling out of alignment. And this out of alignment causes the sleep issues and multiple issues during your slumber, during your night. So now that we talked about the light and the ears, the sound, and how the music trains you to breathe right, it brings your breathing from 15 to around 6 times a minute. And that's the ideal way of breathing. Um, so let me go to the questions before we move on. When would this course be available? So this course would be available within 2 weeks. And for now, what you can do is you can put down your email address in the link provided, and we'll give you a free gift. And if you do put your email address now, then there's also a 50% discount we're offering to our subscribers and the first time. Um, uh, when you put your email address today, let's say, you'll get a 50% discount. Any other questions? All right. So we have around 5 more minutes. So if you have any questions, please put it down. But we'll be wrapping up uh, this discussion, this life course. Is there a way to reduce snoring? Yeah. So the next thing point we're gonna come into is your food. So we take light from our ears, from our eyes, right? We take sound from our ears. We take breathing from our nose, and we take food from our mouth. So these four things, if we can focus and make it ideal, then everything in your life is gonna fall into alignment, including your circadian rhythms. So that's what we go in this course. We go step by step, guide you how to align everything back to nature. So we talked about the eyes, talked about the ears. Let's talk about the breathing for a little bit more. So there is a video I did which the title is nose versus mouth breathing. Very important because your breathing is a very complicated process. So there's a duct of a size of a billiard ball right there behind your nose duct. So this area behind your nose helps the breathing you're taking in, the oxygen, nitrogen, the air. It conditions the air. It gets rid of the pathogens. It humidifies it. It makes it temperature efficient for your body. All these things are happening when you breathe in from your nose. And there is another Nobel Prize molecule scientists have discovered called nitric oxide. And the way you can produce nitric oxide naturally is by breathing from your nose. And what does nitric oxide do? It's the vasodilator, which means it goes in your body and starts dilating the vessels, the blood vessels. It makes them bigger. When your blood vessels become bigger, then the circulation of the blood becomes easier for you, and your whole body starts to function well. And as we age, especially after 35, the body starts producing less and less nitric oxide, which is unfortunate. But we can change the amount of nitric oxide we produce through our body through breathing from our nose. So nose breathing is the most efficient way of increasing nitric oxide. So now let's come to the sleep problem. When you're sleeping and you're snoring, you have your mouth open. When your mouth is open, then you're not able to efficient get all these benefits of breathing. Each time you're breathing from your mouth, you're shocking your body because the mechanisms of cleaning the air through your nose, humidifying it, taking care of the pathogens. The mouth doesn't have all these faculties developed. So as you breathe from your mouth, it goes straight in your lungs with all the pathogens. So when you sleeping in the night and you've trained over the years to have your mouth open and you're a mouth breather, then your snoring problems comes in, and then snoring slowly develops into sleep apnea, and all these other problems start coming up. So in this course, we actually go deeper into explaining you how to slowly eliminate your snoring, and if you have uh, small issues, or if we have deeper issues, if we have severe issues, we go into different aspects of how we can handle these problems effectively, naturally. Most important thing is naturally, without giving you medicine. So I hope all these questions you had are answered. One more question. Thank you for the information. It's going to be helpful. Well, thank you, Dominique, for being here. And this video is going to be available, of course, um, in the live section, and you can watch this video again coming back. Uh, just want to remind you that if you put your email addresses now, then we're going to offer you a discount. Another announcement I wanted to do is we do have a membership feature in this channel. So if you become a member, you not only support us, but we also um, reciprocate. So we put all the premium content on the membership uh, section. All the videos we put on the membership section, including the music, is gonna be ads free, which means you're not gonna see ads in between or in the front or back. And before we release any premium video, we've been experimenting, researching. We would put that on the membership section. So if you can, if you're able to, support by joining the membership, so there's different tiers of membership, and you can see the benefits of each tier when you go to the membership section. But whether you're a member or a subscriber, we really want to take this time to really express our gratitude for supporting us through this journey as we reach more and more people um, through our sleep music and through our sleep course. Um, if you have any questions, please write them in the comments and I can always answer them separately later on. But thank you for being live and have a beautiful, blessed day. Namaste, peace, and love.